In this video, you are going to create the Menagerie Kennel database. You begin by clicking on Blank Desktop Database. Then you are given the option to name the database. Access requires that you do this prior to actually working inside of the database. If you click on the folder icon, it will give you a chance to select the place on your computer where you would like to save the database. So you simply click on the folders until you find the location in which you would like to save it. And then you name the database here next to file name. Click OK. You can see that the file name now appears in the box. The path to the folder where you chose to save it appears below it, and you click on Create. By default, Microsoft Access is going to open a blank table for you in which you could begin typing data. However, we are actually going to import data from Excel. So if you find where it says Table 1, that's the name of the table, and you follow that across, you'll see that there's an X. If you click on that X, it will close the table, and that table will be deleted because it doesn't have any data inside of it. To begin importing the data, you first go up to the menu and you click on External Data, and that tab gives you the ribbon for importing and exporting data. So we're going to locate the import section, and we're going to choose the Excel icon because we want to bring data in from an Excel workbook. So you click on Excel. This first screen gives you the option to find the workbook from which you want to import data. So I'm going to click on the Browse button, and I'm going to go to the folder where I have saved the Excel workbook called Menagerie Kennel, because I know that that contains the data that I want to bring in for my tables. Once I've located that, I single click and it now shows in the file name box, and I click Open. Access now gives me two options. I can either import data or I can link to the data. Importing the data actually brings a static copy of the data into the database. Linking would create a connection between the database and the Excel workbook. I do not simply want to create a connection, I actually want to bring the data into the database. So you want to choose Import. Click OK. This screen shows you the list of the worksheets that are inside the workbook. So we're familiar with these names. These are the names of the tables that we will eventually have in our database. So we're going to begin by bringing in the animal types database. And you can see here that there are column names and data showing what would be in that table. If you were to click on a different table name, then you would begin to see the column names and the data in those tables. So we'll leave animal type, and we'll click on Next. You do need to click that your first row contains your column headings. You can see how that separates that information for you. It shows that these are your column headings, and that will become the name of your fields in your table. Click Next. We're not going to change any information in these options at this time. You can change these later in the table if you need to. Click Next. This is where we begin answering questions about the primary key. If you let Access add a primary key, this is where you get that auto number field. It names it ID and just simply begins numbering each record starting with 1. We do not want this extra field. We already have a field to use as a primary key. So you click Choose My Own Primary Key, and you can see that by default it selects the first column in this list, which is fine. We have set up the Excel spreadsheet so that the first column is the primary key field. So you can see that it is selected here in the pull down box. Click Next. Import to table, you can leave that name the same as what the worksheet was named, and click Finish. It shows you that it's finished importing this information. You do not have to save the import steps. You can click Close. Now you see on the left in the navigation pane you have a table named Animal Types. If you double click that, it will open in Datasheet view. and you can see the field names, the columns, the rows or records. If you go to the Home tab and click on the Design View icon, then you can see that you have two fields. You have your A&M ID, which shows that this is the primary key. You can see the little key icon. And then you have a field called Type, and that they are both short text. So you can close that table, go back up to the External Data tab, click again on Excel. We will browse and find our Excel workbook. Click Open. Again, you need to import this information. Click OK. And we will go to the next table. So this is appointment status. So you simply click on those words. Click Next. First row contains column headings. Next. Again, we do not change this information. Click Next. Choose my own primary key. Will be the first column in the list, so status ID is correct. Click Next. Leave the table name the same. Finish. Do not save the import steps. Close. And you can see that your list of tables then begins to build. Let's go ahead and do those steps one more time. So I clicked on Import Excel. I will browse to find my workbook. Open. Leave the selection as Import. Click OK. Appointments is the next table I need to import. You can see that we have a lot more data in that table. It automatically selected that the first row contains column headings, so you want to leave that box checked. Do not change any information here. Choose the primary key, so your first column again should be the primary key. That is appointment ID. Click Next. Import to Table Appointments. Click Finish. Do not save the import steps. Click Close. And that will complete the import process for the appointment table. Now, in order to complete the data import, you need to follow those steps for each of the tables, each of the worksheets inside the Excel workbook. Once that is completed, then you can move forward to actually creating the relationships inside of the database.